Good evening. My name is BRamos, and this is my problem solving self evaluation for COMM310, week 4. First question: how was your experience working in the learning team? List both the positives and negatives, to include the experience in the forming, storming, norming, and performing. Overall, my experience in the learning team this week was actually pretty good. I was quite surprised. Everybody complimented each other pretty well, considering the different personalities. Positives, some of the positives I experienced was that we have great communication. Everybody was able to communicate well with one another. People was willing to accept suggestions without no negative reactions. Negatives, there was really no negatives, but the only negative I would probably would have to say is the feedback I've gotten from my professor. I guess apparently when I present, I have the tendency to walk a lot. So that's just something that I just need to work on individually, not necessarily for the group. Although it is a group presentation, the way I present during class does play a role overall as a group. Um, Experience during the forming, it was kind of slow in the beginning because nobody knew how to take the lead, I guess. But after everybody was able to get, I guess, settled, we were able to communicate well amongst ourselves. Storming, it was actually pretty good. Once everybody knew what they needed to do, we were able to communicate, give suggestions, and was able to just go with it. In the norming stage, we did have some, I guess, a little bit of a hurdle because we didn't have time during the week or prior to the class to come together as a group and see how the slides looks like as a whole. But we still managed to have that accomplished quite nicely though during the break. So that was great. Performing, I think everybody performed well during their individual piece. I couldn't ask for a better presentation. Um, what was my role in the group, and do I feel I fulfilled my responsibility, and do I feel I fulfilled my expectations I had for the particular assignment? Um, I didn't have a specific role. There are times where I acted like a leader, and there are times where I just acted like a team player. But that's just how I am. I'm a very well-rounded person. I know how to place myself at a certain situation. So, do I feel like I fulfill my responsibility? Yes, because I was able to accomplish the task that I have chosen, or and was able to basically provide that to the group prior to the class itself. So overall, I would say yes, I fulfilled my responsibility. Next question: how was the performance of the other members of your group? Again, everybody is different, but the only thing I could probably say about each and every single person in the group is that including myself, I did see a huge improvement from week 1 to week 4 on how we presented or how we present um, in front of the class. So that's a big accomplishment for everybody. Overall, I'm proud of how everybody went. Everybody knew what they needed to do during their their piece, and overall, we all blended well together, and the flow was great. And the instructor even said that the flow from one person to the other was actually the transition was actually pretty good. So I can't complain about how the presentation went. Last question: if I could turn back time, what would you do differently to better the presentation? I guess like I said, I'm very satisfied on how the presentation went overall. Even if if given the opportunity to turn back time, what would I have done differently to better the present? I guess the only thing I probably would do differently is that have a little bit more of a group connection prior to the presentation, so we were not rushing. But overall, again, great team, great work, guys. I couldn't ask for a better teammates. Kudos to Mila, Leah, Carrie, and Ben. We did great in this presentation, and I couldn't ask for a better teammate. Good job, guys.